Hey, it's James Willoughby, and we're reporting on another week of activity here in Austin, week ending September 10th. Today's the 13th. I'm spent a lot of time really crunching the numbers this last week, trying to figure out what's going on. Got some interesting stuff. I'm going to pull my face over here, maybe make it a little bit smaller, and let's talk about the numbers here. Here are the active listings. So if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, I've been saying, yeah, we've been pushed on the threshold of about 10,000 residential listings in Austin. Um, Last week we were at 9843. This week we've actually broken through the 10,000 listing ceiling. Now we're at 10,068. Don't know if I have a great deal of concern about that, but let's jump into the rest of the numbers here. These are active listings versus new pendings. I always find this to be one of the most interesting charts because it shows you new actives here. So the week before last, we were at 785 new listings. You can see that we've dropped down to 669. So you can see the number of listings going on the market has slowed down on a week over week basis. Likewise, the number of pendings 2 weeks ago, 625. Now we're at 562. So anyway, that's giving you an idea of activity. The split between the two of those is why the inventory has grown. So we actually have more listings going on than listings coming off pending on the marketplace. So anyway, good to note. So then the next thing it does is it shows you weeks of inventory. This is last year. This is this year. The lighter green, and you can see that we've been bouncing around between 8 and 9 pretty much all summer, spring and summer. Then summer market, it jumped up above 10 to 11 and 12. And then right now, we've got about 16.7 weeks of inventory. Basically, what that means is if we didn't have another new listing come on the market based on our current consumption, if you will, of homes, on a weekly basis, it would take 16.7 weeks to eat up all that inventory. It's not actually how it works. Obviously, homes are still coming on the market. Homes are going off the market. Some people are expiring, which means they're pulling their home off the market maybe until next year. So we'll see what happens here. September is always an interesting month in terms of what the direction of the fall market's going to be. And just like today is cooled off, the market's cooling off a little bit, but not ridiculously slow. We talked about median price, and we were last year we had peaked here at 550, and this was right when the stock market decided to go haywire and interest rates went way up and stuff. So the April-May timeframe was great to sell last year. That is gone and maybe gone for quite a long period of time. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this year, here's where we are. We started off at the year at median sales price 455. The median price kind of dipped here in February, which is really going to be December and January sales. So that is not a surprise. They grew and grew and grew. And then we kind of peaked out here for the year at 489. That was in June. So those were April, May pendings. And then we've kind of leveled out here at 462,000 a couple of weeks in a row. The Austin Board of Realtor official statistics roll out in about a week. And we're pretty darn sure it's going to be the same number. But anyway, we'll let you know. Some realtors don't report their sales right away, and that's why sometimes there's a small variance, but we're talking maybe $1,000 or so. What's ahead? Well, here's the chart of interest rates. So we chart it every week, and then if you look up here, we can expand these charts, but I've got rates for the last 10 years to show people kind of the historical perspective. And then I'm just looking at last year's rates. Here's last year and the beginning of last year in January. Move my face a little bit. And And you can see where, rates had grown and grown and grown. And then, last, basically, um, well, really, actually, from the beginning of the spring market to the summer market, it just kept growing, and we hit above 7. And then this year we've gone below her. And then really the last several weeks, it's been kind of interesting because, we were flirting with 7%, and it didn't quite hit it. And for several weeks, and then all of a sudden rates popped up. We hit kind of our high at the end of August, and now you can see we're sliding back down. It's at 7.12, and this is reported by Fannie Mae, is the 30-year rate, the average of all the mortgage companies in the United States, actually. So it's a pretty real perspective on what's going on. It varies a little bit from area to area, not a lot, but a little. And of course, from lender to lender, not a lot, but a little as well. But, that 7%, I think is, that's what's causing people to take pause. Now, if I'm a buyer, I think the higher rates cause, things to slow down. So that makes me more excited about buying when the rates are higher. It's contrarian viewpoint, but, you're going to refinance in a year or so anyway. So who cares about the rate for the first year, and maybe do a 2-1 buy down if your payment is too high for you. We get that payment right where you want it. But so that's where we're at this week. So we're in the beginning of a trend. We don't know exactly what direction we're going to go, but if you're a buyer, it's probably going to be some good times for buying in the next several months. If you're a seller, you need to make sure you're looking at your competition, pricing accordingly, and not be one of the homes that just sits there and gets no showings and ultimately is pulled off the market. So until next week, have a great one, and we'll talk to you then.